The views and opinions expressed today on Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues, developing our solutions, using our voices. Central Arkansas, surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Phone lines open at 855-525-5683. So here's your host, David W. Coleman.
That's right, it's me, Dynamic Dave, for another Monday edition of Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices, 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with me. Send me an email at blackfocusradio@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to catch all the updated shows on YouTube. Just go out to YouTube and search for Black Focus Radio. And you can hit me up on Instagram and YouTube. A lot of stuff to talk about today, but before we do anything, I got to make this offer to you. For the entire month of May, there's going to be discounts on Coleman's Dynamic gift boxes, okay? I do this every year. Now you might say, well, why the month of May? We're in about 2 weeks. Yeah. The big 64 is right around the corner. So I got to celebrate, and I typically celebrate the entire month. So I'm celebrating the month of May by simply offering you a dynamic gift box, any flavor, original, scorching, hot and spicy, or combo for just $29.95. So that means you're saving about $15 on the original price of, well, actually, with shipping and handling, about $15. Yeah. Okay, so don't forget, the entire month of May, Coleman's Dynamic Products is going to be offering the dynamic gift boxes for just $15. So you don't want to miss this, man. This is a killer deal. I promise you, So anyway, so a lot of stuff to talk about today. For the first time in a long time, I will tell you that the Black Fact is going to be a live Black Fact. I'll tell you why I'll tell you why that's going to happen here in just a moment. I'm also going to tell you that the majority of this show is going to be about race. Yeah. I've never done a show like this. Of course, if you listen to the show, I talk about race a lot on the show, but I never do a show about race. But today I'm going to do that because I think it's important that we do, because there are a lot of things that are taking place here in America right now that should concern us all. And I think a lot of us, me, and when I say us, I mean black folks, I think a lot of us are sleeping at the wheel on this situation. And if we're not careful, we're going to be back in the Jim Crow era. There are a lot of things that are coming into play that I'm just looking and I'm saying, like, man, what's going on here? So with the entire show, and I've got evidence, and we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk a little bit about immigration, abortion, deportations, birth rates. Let's see what else. And we got to talk about Burkina Faso, because all of this, and Ibrahim Traore, all of this is part of that. Also, let's see who else. Saquon Barkley and Ashli Babbits. And we can't forget about the white lady who's raising money because she called the little black kid the N-word. So all of that is somewhere on the agenda. As I said, this show is about race. And it's important that we talk about this show because this issue, because there are a lot of things that are happening that I don't think black people are paying attention to. I just don't. Maybe that's me, but I've got some concerns, to say the least. Okay, so it is what it is. So let's see here. So I want to talk today, and before we do anything, I want to make sure that you go out and support the sponsors, ribrub.com And don't forget to support joynetradio.com. The reason I say that is because with Joynet Radio, without that, you wouldn't be hearing the show here in Arkansas. Well, they're in Arkansas. And, of course, Joynet Radio is the only black-owned radio station in Arkansas. So we've got to start supporting our own. And that's what a lot of the show today is going to be about. Okay? So just be aware of that as we move forward. So before we do anything else, we've got to do Black Facts. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
Dynamic Black Facts. Our culture, our history, our people.
Well, as I said, today's Black Fact is usually recorded and comes from the black journals, and they do a great job of giving you information about African American history and African history around the world, and I really appreciate that. I've reached out to them to try to open up some dialogue so we can do some sponsorships. Hopefully they will get back to me soon so we can continue that process. But today, I thought it was important for me to take some time out to talk about someone whom I consider a friend who passed away on April 21st. And that person is Jawanza Kunjufu. Many of you all have heard me talk about him. I've made reference to him long before I got to meet Dr. Kunjufu. I was a fan of Dr. Kunjufu. Okay, so I want to read you some information about him, and then what I want to do is tell you a few little anecdotes about my interactions and relationship with Dr. Kunjufu. Okay, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu was a prominent African-American author, educator, and activist who dedicated his career to addressing the challenges and disparities faced by black communities, particularly in education. Okay? Here's a summary of his key contributions and impact. Background in education. Educated at Morgan State, Illinois State, and Union Graduate School. He held a PhD in business administration, founded African American Images, a publishing and consulting company focused on black education and empowerment. His focus and expertise, his work centered on the educational disparities faced by black children, particularly black boys, and offered solutions to improve their academic outcomes and overall well-being. He was known for advocating for culturally relevant pedagogy and addressing the system issues that can contribute to the achievement gap. He emphasized the importance of positive self-images, discipline, and community support in raising successful black children. He authored over 40 books, including bestsellers like Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, Raising Black Boys, and The Black Student, Middle Class Teachers. His books provided a critical analysis of the challenges faced by black children in the education system and offered concrete solutions for parents, educators, and policymakers. He developed resources and workshops aimed at promoting positive self-images and discipline in black children. He was a frequent speaker and consultant, sharing his expertise with educators, school districts, universities, and communities across the nation. Dr. Kunjufu's work has had a lasting impact on black education and community empowerment. His writings and speeches continue to inspire educators and activists to address systematic inequalities and promote black excellence. His legacy is remembered as a powerful voice for black children and their right to quality education. I think that's important, and I think it's apropos today, although I had planned to do it last week. But I think it's apropos today to recognize Dr. Kunjufu today because of what we're going to talk about today. And it has to do with race. Now, some of you all say, well, David, you talk about race all the time. I do. But I'm talking about it in a larger construct today because there are things that are coming together that I'm a little concerned about. And we'll talk about all of those. But those of you, if you could see this book right here, this is Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, Volume 2. There's another volume as well. I have both of these books. And I can't find the other one. But if you can see this book, it's funny, when I went to the bookshelf, I've even got one of my old bookmarks in it. This is crazy, man. Just to give you an idea of some of the chapters in this book. Developing Responsibility in Black Boys. Female Teachers and the Black Male. Some Reasons Why Black Boys Succeed and Fail. Relevant curriculum for Black boys and rites of passage. And if you don't know, I used to do rites of passage camps for young Black boys and Black girls when I lived in Memphis and Nashville. So I followed a lot of his teachings in this book and put together a program. And at some point, I'd love to do those rites of passage camps again. But I don't think kids would even go for them today. I don't even think parents would go for him today. But I want to take this time out and talk about Dr. Kunjufu because he was such a huge impact on my life. So there are two anecdotes that I want to share with you before we go to the break. One of them is Dr. Kunjufu. When I first read the book, it was prior to me being married. And this was part of my quest. Because, it's kind of like when you're searching for answers, whether it's in archaeology or geology, quite often you run across information that will lead you down a different path. Now, that doesn't mean you stray, but you take time out to explore other paths. So when I was about, 21 years old. I had just left college. I had broken my neck. I was very disillusioned. A friend and I would go to the park in Little Rock. This is where I was when I came back from school. And we would eat barbecue potato chips and drink Jack Daniels. I'm just going to be real with you. And sit there and get intoxicated. And part of that for me was I was depressed. I had just broken my neck. I didn't realize I had broken my neck, but I knew I was hurt. I had to leave school. I didn't really have a plan. I was working, but I was still disillusioned. I was disillusioned about school. I was disillusioned about life. I was disillusioned about religion. Christianity, to be totally honest. So I decided to begin a quest to let's find out the answers to this religion thing. And let's figure it out if we can. So I began to buy books. I began to read everything that I could. And eventually, I ran across Dr. Kunjufu's book, Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. Now, at that time, I had no children, but I was involved in the community. I was working with young Black males. I knew at some point that I was going to have a son. People say, well, how'd you know that? Well, I just knew. By the way, just on a side note, when my then wife told me that she was pregnant, I told her then it was a boy. I would not let anyone buy any girl clothes. I am not kidding. If her sister bought girl clothes and I sent them back, I wouldn't let them stay in the house. That's my son, Akili. I knew that was a boy. I knew he was going to be a boy. But I named him long before he was even moving in the womb. Akili Kari Coleman. It means kingly understanding in Swahili. Anyway, so I had begun to do all of this research, and I ran across Dr. Kunjufu's book. And of course, Dr. Kunjufu was on Donahue. I watched him, everything that I could, every time I saw him, every video that I could see, I watched. Every time I heard him, I remember him being on the Tony Brown's Journal. I remember him being on Donahue. He was on a lot of different shows about what was going on and trying to counter the conspiracy to destroy black boys. Those of you who don't know, it was Dr. Kunjufu who first talked about the fourth grade and how during the fourth grade, the young black male is often lost, okay? That he is often lost in the public schools. And a lot of it had to do with, number one, there are not many black teachers. Now, I'm fortunate. I had third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade, all black female teachers. Now, there weren't any black male teachers, but there were black female teachers. Okay, so that I think that helped me a lot along the way because I was a bit rambunctious. In the second grade, I actually threw my social studies book, the literature book, out the window because there were no black pictures in it. So I guess I've always been a little radical. My mom whooped my butt too. And that was a long walk to get that switch. That was a long walk to get that switch. But, you know, at the end of the day, I look at myself today, and that was the beginning of where I am today. But anyway, so I was on this search, and I ran across Dr. Kunjufu. And subsequently, I ended up developing rites of passage camps. I went to a church in Memphis called Greater Money. Reverend Bill Atkins was the pastor at the time. It was Afrocentric. That didn't do anything but push me further. You say, well, you were at a Christian church. Yeah, but I was able to study a lot of things. And once I left that church, I realized that being in a church was not for me. But I did a lot of great work. We took a lot of kids to camp, and a lot of things that we did at those camps, those rites of passage camps, was because of Dr. Kunjufu's books and the rites of passage camps that he had put together as well. So that's one part of Dr. Kunjufu. The second part is that prior to my son being born, I married a woman who had a son herself. And I felt it was incumbent upon me. And by the way, her sisters had sons. She had two other sisters, and all three of them had sons. And they were all about the same age. So I felt it incumbent upon me that I had to be the leader, the black male in their lives, because their fathers were not in their lives at the time. And of course, during that time, they went to my rites of passage camps and everything as well. So when we first became husband and wife, and I think we had been married for about maybe 2 years, and my stepson we had moved to an area that was, I guess you could say it was predominantly white. The school was predominantly white. I had told my wife, and at the time, she knew I was reading all these books, and I know she probably got sick of me talking about this and talking about Dr. Kunjufu and talking about the African-American culture and Africa and Dr. Ivan Van Sertima and George Jones and you know, from Babylon to Timbuktu, Dr. Rudolph Windsor. And so sometimes I would start talking and she would just roll her eyes at some point. But I had to speak into existence what I was learning. But apparently she was listening. So when our son got to the fourth grade and we went to this school, and I think I've relayed this story to you before, but not in this detail. I had warned her that summer that you need to read Dr. Kunjufu's book. You really need to read it. You have a black son. We have a black son, although he was my stepson. And he's going to run into things. Now, remember, Dr. Kunjufu proffered in his book that in the 4th grade is when we typically lose our black males. In the 4th grade. And part of that is because many of our black males go to schools, to public schools, and their teachers are white. Many of those teachers have never really interacted with black people. They've never really interacted with black children. Oh, they've seen us on TV. They may have had a black friend in college, but had real interaction, and that makes a difference. And particularly when it comes to black boys and black girls are different. Part of the reason that they believe that they started putting black boys on Ritalin. They offered or attempted to try and put our son on Ritalin because he was hyperactive. Now, just a side note, I was hyperactive growing up. My mother never put me on anything. She just let me play football, baseball, basketball, run track, Boy Scouts, anything. And by the time when I'd get home, I was dead to the world. Didn't see you until 6 o'clock next morning because I was out. Okay. Now, I would stay up late at night because, just as of late, before now, now that I've gotten older, I sleep a little longer. But I used to just sleep for 4 hours a night. It was really weird. But anyway, so I had told her to read the book. And she did that summer before he went to 4th grade. And, as I said, Dr. Kunjufu talked about how we lose our boys in the 4th grade. And a lot of it is because teachers don't understand them. They come from the suburbs. They've never dealt with a black kid. When a black kid, and he used an example of playing the dozens, a lot of teachers would take that as an offense. Now, kids don't play the dozen now. You got to realize this book, show you how old this book is. This book was written, it was published, let me see. Wow. Did I buy this book from... This was published in 1986. I saw a stamp. This was bought in the bookstore at Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church in Memphis back in wow, that's just crazy. Anyway, so he talked about the 4th grade, and the 4th grade was important. So I wanted her to read the book, and she did read the book. So sure enough, our stepson went to the 4th grade. And about midway through the year, he began to have problems. Similar to what Dr. Kunjufu had talked about in his book. The teacher didn't understand him. Now, here's the deal with my stepson. During the time I was going to school, and I've always been a math person, I started tutoring him out of my college books. I made him read every summer. I tell parents all the time, my kids didn't get summer off. They were always doing something. You had to read a book. And I'm not talking about a little thin book. You're reading this summer. Yeah, you are. See, the thing is that, white kids study year round. They don't take summer off. Neither do Asian kids. It's only our kids and parents, they need a break. No, they don't. My kids' only job was to get their grades and do their chores. And I told them that if the chores are too much for you because your grades are falling, then we'll cut back on the chores. But I expect you to make high honor roll, A's. There wasn't no C's coming in my house. We didn't play that. But anyway, that's the side story. So sure enough, DeJuan gets to school, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call your name DeJuan, but he gets to school, and the 4th grade, he started having problems. Teacher calls, and she wants to have a parent-teacher conference. I told her, I said, did you read the book? She said, yeah, I've read the book. She went to the parent-teacher conference, and sure enough, that's what was happening. The white teacher at school did not understand what DeJuan was or who he was, because she was used to dumb black boys. No offense, but black boys that weren't that smart. The one was pretty darn smart, okay? And it would make her mad because the one, now check this out. She called a parent-teacher conference for this. This was a white teacher calling a parent-teacher conference on a black child because he was acting up in class. Now, what was he doing? Well, let me tell you, I'm glad you asked. He was answering questions correctly. Did you hear what I said? He was answering questions. So when she would have question and answer session, she would ask the class, well, class, da 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 da. The one would be the first. At first, he would just blurt it out. And then she got upset because he would blurt it out. And no other kid would be able to answer the question. So then she said, no, you need to raise your hand. So then he started raising his hand. And quite often, Dewan was the only kid who raised his hand, because he was the only kid that knew the damn answers to the question. I'm serious. This is what was going on in this class. White fourth grade teacher, fourth grade black male. We had just discussed Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu's book, and we had empowered ourselves to be prepared in the fourth grade. Now, what's the point? Here's the point. Is that what she was trying to do is dumb him down, shame him into not answering questions, because quite often black males will, because Dr. Kunjufu talks about sometimes when a kid knows the answers to the questions, the black male, he raises his hand and the teacher would ignore him. So the black male would go into a shell and not even try to answer any questions anymore because he feels like he's being ignored. That was literally happening in my family at that time. We had to send her a copy of the book. We had to talk to her about it. We had to continue to encourage our son as well. My point is that Dr. Kunjufu has been right on time. And lastly, but not least, before I moved to the DMV, as you all know, I did Black Focus Radio in Little Rock, Arkansas. And one of my goals was try to get the heavy hitters on. And we talked to a lot of people during that time period. At some point, we're going to do it again. And I was able to, and it's funny because if I look at my phone right now, I've got Dr. Kunjufu's phone number. When I heard that he passed, I instinctively picked up the phone and just dialed his number. I got to talk to Dr. Kunjufu. Got to interview him. We interviewed him for close to an hour, if I remember correctly. And in fact, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to go back and find that interview with him. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to look into it. But we talked to him for about an hour. And one of the questions that I asked him is that, Dr. Kunjufu, what would have happened to our people had we listened to you back in 1986? And his profundity was always on point. And, he didn't want to pat himself on the back, but I patted him on the back myself because I wanted him to know that a lot of us listened, but a lot of us didn't. And my argument is that our young black males would be in a lot better shape today had we simply listened to Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu when he wrote Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. Because now, do you believe it? It's real. It's out there. It's happening every day. The prison pipeline from the fourth grade, by the time your child gets to the fourth grade, they can determine where he will end up. And unfortunately, a lot of our young black males are ending up still today in prison because we do not teach the things that we need to teach in order for them to be successful. So, I wanted to take that time out just to talk a little bit about Dr. Kunjufu. You're going to be missed, brother, but as long as there is breath in my body, you will live on. I tell people all the time, It's part of the reason that I do what I do. Part of the reason that I try to empower young people is that I want to live forever. And you say, well, how can I live forever? Oh, you're talking about in Christ. No, I'm not talking about in Christ. If you're a Christian, that's fine. But see, I'm going to live forever another way. Because during the time that I did those rites of passage camps, I would say over a 10-year period, I probably saw 1,000, 1,500 girls and boys over that time period. And I imparted knowledge on them. Some of them absorbed it. Some of them internalized it. And somewhere down the line, many of them are grown now. And I can tell you the story of one young lady who ended up going through one of my camps and ended up becoming a manager at an Exxon station and even surprised me years after she had went through the camp. I'm going to live forever in her. She's always going to think about Mr. David and what Mr. David did for her. There are others. They might just remember that teenage survival kit and me talking about that mousetrap, or me talking about a 5 1/4 inch floppy, or the future. That's how I'm going to live forever. And it is incumbent upon us that if you truly want to live forever, every child that you see, you got to tell them something. You've got to drop some knowledge on them, impart knowledge on them, and thusly you live forever. And Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, you will live forever. I thank you. And that's our Black Fact for today.
Keep listening to Black Focus Radio for more dynamic Black facts, our culture, our history, our people on joynetradio.com.
Hi, I'm David W. Coleman, host of Black Focus Radio and the weekly sports magazine. We here at joynetradio.com would like to thank you for all the love and support you've given us. Our goal is to keep you inspired and informed daily with quality programming from gospel music, news, talk, and sports. Log on to joynetradio.com for the program lineup, and while there, be sure to make a donation. Then download our app and carry us anywhere in the world. Please continue to spread the word about joynetradio.com. And if you are an entrepreneur or have an upcoming event, or you'd like to start a show, let the professional writers and producers here at joynetradio.com help you get the word out. Call me at 615-554-0568 for more details. In the meantime, stay informed and inspired daily right here on joynetradio.com.
All right, welcome back to Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with me if you'd like to join the show. A lot of stuff to talk about today. I told you today I'm going to talk a lot about race today. Okay, my show is based on race, but today I want to start drilling down on some things that have me concerned, and it has a lot to do with politics. Okay, it has a lot to do with the direction in which this country is headed, and I'm concerned. I will tell you that I will be 64 years old May 13th, and I thought that by this time that the issue of race would be no more, or if it was, it would be put on the shelf. No, in fact, I won't say it's worse, because obviously we are not being hunted down by the Klan, or are we? There are some peculiar things that are happening. I'm still looking for information on what happened at Claiborne Temple in Memphis about a week or so ago. Those of you who don't know, Claiborne Temple was burned to the ground. Now, I looked in the break, and right now they don't know why this church was burned to the ground. Now, if you don't know what happened at Claiborne Temple, that is Dr. King, the mountaintop speech. It was instrumental in the garbage man strike in Memphis back then. So those are things that are happening that has me a bit concerned. I thought things would be done. I remember my mom sent me to a white camp called Camp Grundy. It was a white day camp, and I was the only black kid there. And I hated Camp Grundy. I had fun at Camp Grundy, but I hated going to Camp Grundy. Now, I know that sounds weird, but I did. I got to swim. I got to fish. I got my first fishing rod, which was a Zepco 202. I still remember that black and white rod. I still remember it. But every day, there was some white boy who thought he was tougher than me. They couldn't outrun me. They couldn't outrow me. They couldn't outswim me. There was one white kid who could outswim me. I remember we used to go downtown to the YMCA and we play all fishes under. And that meant you would start on the one side of the pool. There would be one guy on the other side of the pool, widthwise. And everybody you had to swim underwater across to the other side without taking a breath. And if the guy on the other side pushed you out of the water, you had to get on his side until it ended up that, everybody would end up on one side and it would start over with one guy. And that one guy who was left, he won. I went to that class. I went to that camp every day. I remember going to Philmont Scout Ranch at 14 and being one of 2 black kids there. And we almost had to fight for our lives in the mountains because I had, let's just say this. If it wouldn't have been for me breaking a stick and lighting it afire just before one of the guys were about to hit me because I was going to club him with that stick. He didn't know it, but I was ready. He didn't think I was paying attention. But anyway, those were some of the race things. That was back in the 1970s. So here we are at 2025 and it's race all over again. It's unfortunate. I want to play you this sound or this video of this white woman who was caught harassing a young black child. The child is 5 years old. I want you to listen to this, okay? Because it encapsulates what I want to do today. All right? Because again, today's show is about race. And I want to show many of you who don't believe that we are in a racist society that is spiraling downward out of control. I want to prove it to you. It's been right there before your eyes, but you didn't want to believe it. And the media is not going to tell you. The media is not going to show you. It's dominated by white people. So let's listen to this and we'll talk about it here in a little bit.
You call him the child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him. Okay, why don't you have the balls to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say. Nobody digging to you.
A little kid just did, you dumb.
That little kid, you call him a.
Yeah.
The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna.
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old and the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act.
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know that's a hate speech, and you can be the that.
I don't give a.
Huh. Okay, we'll see about that. What the internet has to say about you.
So in that particular piece, that was a white woman. She was at a playground in Minnesota. And apparently there was another black child there playing. And Look, we've all been at playgrounds. Man, I took my kids to playgrounds a lot. Quite often there were lost children, and I don't mean literally lost, but they'd wander over, they're fascinated, they're curious. 5-year-old kid, he saw the lady and the kid and went over, and according to the lady, which I don't believe, she claims that he was stealing stuff out of her kid's bag. Really? If you really want to go there? And she continually called this child the N-word. Now, as you all know, I'm on a campaign to get rid of the N-word. That's a classic example why we need to get rid of it. So that when they use it, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt what it's meant. So she called him an N-word multiple times. The person that you saw and heard on the video had his phone and recorded it. But there's more to this story. There's more to this story. She then she got on, what was it? Find, Send, Go? Something like that. The same app that is raising money for Carmelo Anthony. And she began to raise money. She claimed that she was the victim because this video has been posted and it's the talk of social media. In fact, what I played from you is from a television station out of Minneapolis. This lady, because she's gotten such a backlash from people who saw this video, is now claiming she's a victim. So she got on this app and started raising money. And last I heard, she had raised over $200,000 from, and oh, by the way, these were small donations, $10, $15, $20 from other white racists who applauded her for calling a little black child the N-word and chasing this kid. Hello? Now, people reached out to the fundraising site and said, how can you let her raise money? You can't argue against it simply because of the argument that we made for Carmelo Anthony and others who were able to raise money on this site. It's getting to a point where maybe this site really doesn't have any scruples, but hey, to each his own. But I don't think we should be upset about her being able to raise money. By the way, her goal is $1 million. Okay? I don't think we should be upset because this clearly gives us evidence of the bigotry and the racism that still exists in this country. We knew it. Nobody wanted to say it. You would tend to believe that you would have sympathy for a little child. We all, at least the majority of us, have had children. Even the racists have had children. Okay? Even they've got children. And their children were curious. Their children were inquisitive. Their children waved at strangers. How many times have you been out at a store and the baby, they've had the little child, and you're black, I'm black, the white kid, the kid is white, in a buggy, mama or daddy is pushing the little kid, and the little kid is waving at us. Hi, hello. I've had little kids run up to me and grab my leg. Hi, where's your dad? Where's your mom? Oh, I'm sorry. He's just, look, my kids wouldn't do that. But some kids do that. Kids are curious. So how could it be okay that this grown woman is raising money because she called a black child the N-word? And then you heard the guy say, how could you call him that? And then she says, well, if he's going to act like that, if he's going to act like one, what? What a purely racist piece of crap she is. But this is how they subjugate our children. This is what Dr. Kunjufu was talking about. Y'all seeing the link now, right? This is why I thought it was important to bring up Dr. Kunjufu first. Because we don't know how many times that child had been called that word. Now, probably, I hate to say it, at home, he's probably heard that word from his mom or his daddy. If he's got brothers or sisters, he's probably been called that word. Because we in our community have not realized the damage that that word causes. We cannot, see, I can be indignant. I can be upset because I don't use that word. But can you as a black man or woman really be upset because this white woman used this word against a black child when you use it yourself? Don't say, well, see, Dave, it's meant differently. No, it isn't. The word is a word is a word. There's a reason why they don't say they don't like the word Nazi. You don't see Jews running around calling their children, you little Nazi. What's up, my Nazi? You don't see Jews doing that. But we're running around saying, hey, what's up, my little N-word, my little N-word. Oh, that's my N-word. Women referring to their husbands and their boyfriends as the N-word. But would be offended if I called you the B-word. This woman, and I know her name, but I will not use her name because she is a disgusting piece of crap. And anyone who donated to her is the same. And anyone out there who is black don't believe that racism is alive and well in America. All you need to do is look at that video. All you need to do, and had it not been for the person that was there filming it, not only would we not have known, gotta give him a look. Yeah, it's barbecue time, folks. Not only would we not have known, but God knows what she would have done to that little kid. That's what's dangerous. So you white racists out there who are upset that we are donating money to Carmelo Anthony, those of you out there who are upset, just remember this. Just remember this. Just remember Trayvon Martin. Just remember all of these people. These black people who have been killed, who have been harassed. I was watching the video of the woman who was in Chicago who was raided by police a few years ago. It popped up on my wall again. Raided her, had her standing in her house butt naked, and they were at the wrong house. How long are we going to deal with this? How long are we going to accept this? How long are we going to say this is okay? Because it's not okay. And what is happening in this country today should concern us all. You see, you got to understand, if I emasculate a black male, and Dr. Rosie Milligan talks about this in her book, and I hate, the name of this book is N-Word Please. And she talks about the emasculation of the black male. It was slave owners who wanted to emasculate the black male in front of their black children and their black wives so that the black woman would not depend on the black male. Quite often, if she had a strong black male, she would always try to tap down his emotions because she didn't want Massa to know, because Massa would kill him. It's crazy, folks. It really is. I told you today we're going to talk about race. At the top of the hour, we're going to talk about Burkina Faso. We got to talk about Burkina Faso. When we come back, I want to touch on Ashli Babbits and Saquon Barkley. Next hour, we're going to talk about Burkina Faso. And we're going to tie in what immigration, abortion, deportation, and birth rates all have in common. This is a heck of a show right here, folks. Tell somebody. Spread the word. Like, share, and subscribe. We're walking towards 1,000 subscribers. We need your support. Back in a moment. It's called Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices on joinetradio.com.
Listen. Did you miss Dr. Ernest Gill from UT San Antonio?
When you're making $455 million off these student athletes and all you can come up with is $5,000, John Calipari makes $8 million a year, and his players are going to get $5,000 a year. The majority of these teams were white men and white males and females. Would this be happening? And I would say no, because their families wouldn't let it happen. But we're letting our kids get pimped.
Join the weekly sports magazine every Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. on joinetradio.com.
All right, welcome back to Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with me if you'd like to join the show. This segment, coming up next segment at the top of the hour, I go into more details on what my concerns are. Well, we're certainly going to talk about Burkina Faso. We got to talk about that. Because all of this, there's something going on in the world that we as black people need to pay attention to. And are we willing to stand up for other black people in other parts of the world? Or are we so brainwashed in America that we will turn against our African brothers and sisters? We'll talk about that here in a moment. But first, I want to talk a little bit about Ashli Babbits. Y'all remember a couple of weeks ago I told you about the Trump administration was exploring the possibility of giving reparations to the January 6th people, the rioters, the thugs, the insurrectionists, the terrorists. Remember those white terrorists who stormed the Capitol? Y'all remember? I know you do. And there was information or people saying that, hey, well, you know, because you pardon them, many of those, and regardless of what MAGA wants to tell you, they were not wrongly convicted. They stormed the Capitol. That was a terrorist movement, by the way. Hadn't seen any of those terrorists being deported. We'll get to that later. They were talking about giving them reparations. The funny thing about it, you don't want to help students with their student loans, but you'll give money to people who stormed the Capitol, who tore up the Capitol, who were terrorists. Well, one of those people unfortunately lost their life, and that person was Ashli Babbits. Remember Ashli Babbits? She was the woman who was breaking through the door. Y'all remember that? She was breaking through the door and the police officer was telling them, I don't want to shoot. And if you keep coming, she came and boom, one shot went off and she was killed. And people tried to make her into a martyr. No, she was a terrorist. She stormed the Capitol. Guess what, Ashli Babbits? If you would not have been in that Capitol, tearing up that Capitol, defecating in that Capitol, then guess what, Ashli Babbits? You would be here today. Yes, you would. But because you wanted to become a terrorist and storm the Capitol and listen to a clown, a flim-flam man, you lost your life. But it gets sadder, folks. Because of that, Ashli Babbits last week, according to reports, her family is going to be awarded by the federal government $30 million. Hello? $30 million. Hello? You think I'm kidding? Let me see if I can find that article. Okay? Because this is a travesty. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because it makes no sense. Ashli Babbits awarded $30 million. You see how this works, folks? Let's see what comes up. Here is this. U.S. reaches agreement to settle lawsuit brought over Ashli Babbits shooting during Capitol riot. This is from the AP News. The Trump administration has reached a preliminary agreement to settle a wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of Ashli Babbits over her shooting by an officer during the U.S. Capitol riots. Lawyers for Babbits' estate and the Justice Department told the judge in Washington's federal court that they have reached a settlement in principle, but the details are still being worked out and the final agreement has not yet been signed. The terms of the settlement has not been disclosed. Babbits' estate filed a $30 million lawsuit last year over the fatal shooting when she attempted to climb through a broken window of a barricaded door leading to the Speaker's lobby inside the Capitol on January 6, 2021. The Capitol Police officer who shot her was cleared of wrongdoing by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, which concluded that he acted in self-defense and in the defense of members of Congress. By the way, Ashli Babbits was 35 years old. She was unarmed. The lawsuit alleges that the officer, who was not in uniform, failed to de-escalate the situation and did not give her any warning or commands before opening fire. Well, wait a minute. If you've seen that video, and I have, and I know many of you all have, if you've seen that video, how was he going to de-escalate, what was it, 100, 200 people trying to push through that door? How would you want him to de-escalate? He was trying to protect U.S. senators and congressmen. By the way, some of you all were Republican senators and congressmen. And now my tax dollars are going to go to $30 million worth of my tax dollars is going to a terrorist family? That is crazy, man. That's crazy. This is your Trump administration. I told you, we're talking about race. You know why? Look, had that been a black person, look, these black people can't get wrongful death suits and they're walking down the street being killed. But this woman was a terrorist committing a terrorist act and we're going to pay her $30 million? Unbelievable. No, it is believable in this time. The times that we are in today, it is believable. Before we go to the top of the hour, let me quickly talk about Saquon Barkley. You know, the NFL football player. That guy. Yeah, him. He played for the Philadelphia Eagles. They won the Super Bowl this past year in February. As you know, oftentimes when teams win championships, they go to the White House. Over the years, during the time that Donald Trump was there, teams that were headed by black people did not go to the White House. Philadelphia was one of those teams that decided they were going to go to the White House. Many of them did not go. Jalen Hurts was one of those people who did not go. Saquon Barkley did. Not only did Saquon Barkley go, but Saquon Barkley played golf with the criminal in chief. And he got all in his feelings because people were chastising him for what he did. But you see, Saquon Barkley doesn't really get it. Just like all those others, black people who want to rub shoulders with the criminal in chief, the racist in chief. You see, Saquon Barkley don't understand that Donald Trump doesn't like you as a person. He likes you because you are a celebrity. You were the running back in the NFL, and the same NFL where they would not allow Donald Trump to even have a team because they didn't trust him, nor did they like him. But you, Saquon Barkley, you got all up in your feelings because people were chastising you, because you don't understand that those little mixed children that you have, because Saquon Barkley is married to a white woman, that is irrelevant to the point. But those little mixed children that you have, Donald Trump doesn't want them in America. He doesn't even include them in his eyes. They're mongrels. They're half-breeds. They're not white. But what are they going to say when they grow up in a world of racism and they know that their daddy played golf with the chief racist, the racist in chief? What are they going to say? Because Saquon, you don't realize that same person you played golf with, he doesn't see you as a man. He see you as a celebrity. But if you were on the street, you would be the N-word to him. So with your children. You see, Saquon Barkley, he doesn't care about the fact, and apparently neither do you, that he's killing black education. He doesn't care about the fact that that same museum that you probably went, the Civil Rights Museum, that he's trying to defund it. He's trying to remove black people out of the history books. He's the same president who took Jackie Robinson down in the White House. He's the same president who removed references to black people on government websites. You, Saquon Barkley, apparently don't know that, or you don't care, or maybe you've been hit in your head too much, because at the end of the day, if you're driving down the street and you get pulled over by a cop, they're not going to recognize you as Saquon Barkley. They're going to recognize you as a N-word in a fancy car. But yet you hobnobbing and playing golf with this person. You see, I try not to prejudge people. I let people tell me who they are by showing me what they do. And Saquon, you've shown me and millions of other black folks out there of who you are by what you did. There's no way around it. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. I was actually pulling for Philadelphia because I wanted Jalen Hurts to win a Super Bowl. And in him winning, you were able to win one as well. You were not the MVP. Jalen Hurts was. This is disappointing. And everyone around you has a right to be disappointed in you. You are doing nothing more than empowering a racist. And on that note, we've got to take the top of the hour break. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Black Focus Radio, our issues, our solutions, our voices on joynetradio.com.
Listen! Did you miss Dr. Ernest Gill from UT San Antonio?
When you're making $455 million off these student athletes, and all you can come up with is $5,000, John Calipari makes $8 million a year, and his players are going to get $5,000 a year. The majority of these teams were white men and white males and females. Would this be happening? And I would say no, because their families wouldn't let it happen. But we're letting our kids get pimped.
Join the weekly sports magazine every Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. on joynetradio.com.
The views and opinions expressed today on Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues, developing our solutions, using our voices. Central Arkansas, surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Phone lines open at 855-525-5683. So here's your host, David W. Coleman.
All right, welcome back to Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with me if you'd like to join the show. A lot more stuff to talk about today. This hour, we're going to talk about Ibrahim Traore and what's happening in Africa. We're also going to talk about how all of this comes. I'm going to bring it all home here later, a little later on, of how all of this is playing into this movement that is happening in Washington, D.C. by the white supremacist. Yeah, it's happening. Y'all better pay attention. Okay? But first of all, I want to read this part of this article. This is from, this is Immigration News of the African Union by BAL. It says, a Pan-African passport was unveiled at the African Union Summit in Kigali. The electronic passport will eventually allow African nationals to travel visa-free within the country. The African Union passport will be the first available to diplomats and is expected to be issued to regular travelers real soon. Okay, ongoing implementation time frame is ongoing. The background is the African Union passport, an idea first proposed in 2014, aims to foster inter-African trade, integration, and social development by facilitating the free movement of people, goods, and services. In a symbolic act during the Assembly of the African Union, heads of the state, the first passports were handed to the current chair of the African Union. The move toward the common passport is consistent with efforts to ease or eliminate visa requirements by individual African countries and regional blocs on the continent, including Ghana's new policy allowing all African Union nationals to obtain visas upon arrival. An African Union passport will significantly reduce bureaucratic hurdles for African citizens traveling and conducting business throughout Africa. Now, I know what you're saying, Dave. Why are you reading that? Well, see, that's the beginning of a bigger picture here. If you remember a few weeks ago, I talked to you about the African Union coming together to develop one currency. Y'all remember that? Coming together to develop an African bank. You all remember me talking to you all about that? Do you? Well, since I've talked to you about that, there have been other things that have started to transpire. I've mentioned this in brief, but I want to talk about it a little bit more in this segment because this is all part of a bigger picture that I believe is causing us to head towards a cliff, not just here in the United States, but around the world. I've talked to you about Ibrahim Traore. Ibrahim Traore is the president of Burkina Faso. At one point, Burkina Faso was a poor nation. As a matter of fact, France is involved heavily in Burkina Faso. France, as a matter of fact, prints its dollars. The nation of Burkina Faso. France gets millions of dollars in gold from Burkina Faso because Burkina Faso has all kinds of gold ore. You see, if you really understand history, you understand, or geology, you understand that everything that man needs is on one continent. Every mineral. There's only one place in the world where every mineral, everything that a man needs, a human needs, is on one continent. That continent is Africa. Hello? And France has been milking Benin, Burkina Faso, the Ivory Coast for decades. Did you know that in Haiti they speak French? Did you know that the French even had their hands in Haiti before the revolution. And the French, along with Europeans and the Americans, they plotted against Haiti because Haiti was the first country to rebuke slavery in 1792, if I remember correctly, if I remember my history. See, there's a reason why Haiti is poor, is because European, American, and nations have conspired over the centuries to hurt Haiti because Haiti rebuked slavery early on. In fact, Haiti is still paying a stipend to France today. Now, you're probably saying, well, Dave, what does that have to do with Burkina Faso? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. I mentioned his name, Ibrahim Traoré. Ibrahim Traoré is 37 years old. He came to power in a coup. He had never held office. He wasn't highly ranked in the military. But he came to power, and he has taken many of the African nations by storm, who are lining up behind him to support him. Because here's what Ibrahim Traoré is doing in Burkina Faso. He bought 400 tractors. He gave housing to the poor. He is demanding that his people learn to farm, learn to manufacture, learn to do things that they normally were not able to do. As a matter of fact, the only thing many of the people in Burkina Faso was doing was working in the gold mines for France. Oh, by the way, speaking of France, Ibrahim Traoré has also removed France from his country. He is asking the military to leave. France doesn't like that. America doesn't like it either, because last week there was a picture of him with, guess who? The president of Russia. You know, that little Putin boy. You know, the same one that Donald Trump cozies up to. Oh, wait a minute. So when the black man in Africa cozies up to Putin, it's a bad thing. But when Donald Trump cozies up to Putin, it's a good thing? Make it make sense. So basically what Ibrahim Traoré is doing is trying to create an independent state away from Western influence. As a matter of fact, last week, a general, four-star general who was black, I mentioned this last week, went in a Senate committee and said that Ibrahim Traoré is stealing money from the people. The gold that France is taking, it's okay if France takes it, but if this man takes the gold, their gold. This is gold. It's almost like somebody coming in your house and eating your food and then telling you that you can't eat it. And if you stop them from eating it, then they want to fight you. This is literally what France is doing, and other countries. And countries are doing this. You know, there's a diamond commercial that comes on the radio show that I listen to, and they're from South Africa. And this guy brags about the fact that he grew up in the diamond mines. His parents in the diamond mines in Africa. Well, we know what is going on. We talked about King Leopold. This guy grew up and he talked about how his little brother and he would ride their bikes through the diamond mines. How they would lay in their bed and listen to their dad talk about the diamond mines when they were in Africa. It wasn't even their diamonds. You see, Western world has been feeding on the tits of Africa for centuries. They stole, you talk about, George M. Jones wrote the book Stolen Legacy. They've stolen everything from Africa and claimed it to be theirs. Even the Pythagorean theorem, they named it after Pythagoras when Pythagoras actually learned that theorem in Africa in the Egyptian mystery systems. Wow. This is crazy. This is crazy. All I'm saying to you is we've got to start paying attention to what's going on here. Because now there are rumblings that America needs to do something about Ibrahim Traore. And that black general that was standing before the Senate subcommittee last week, are we willing to commit a black man to do the white man's dirty work? Because all of the African, I was reading a lot of the African blogs last week, and African people are upset. Look, people in Ghana, which is near Burkina Faso, said that if Burkina Faso needs help, people in Ghana is willing to go to help fight the imperialist. You see, I told you that I was going to talk about race today, but I'm setting this up so you understand what's going on here. That we are headed to a cataclysmic cliff, because what's happening is Africa for the first time seems to be uniting. This is something, see, all of this stuff that has been going on in Africa for decades has been evil seeds sowed by the Western world. Let's just be honest. You may not like it, but this is true. See, the West wanted to go in and modernize those savages, when it was really the West who were the savages. And now for the first time, you're talking about an African bank, a universal passport. You're talking about a universal dollar or a universal form of currency. All of these things for the first time, where Africa will not act as 56 different countries, but as one nation. Ooh. And people in Africa are excited. Last week you couldn't go through social media without seeing some type of post about Burkina Faso and Ibrahim Traore. African nations are thrilled at what's going on, and should we be thrilled? And should we be willing to take a page from them? That's the question. That's the question. Because we are in need of an independent movement. Not one that is talking about civil rights, but one that is working behind the scenes in order to empower our own community. Because it is clear now that there are many whites who don't want us to succeed. When I come back from the break, I'm going to give you some data to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt. And why is it that the regular media is not asking the very questions that I'm asking? You see, because there's a problem here. They understand. I saw a video the other day, and this woman was talking about this is a white nation. This is their nation. This is our nation. This is a white nation. Go back, get out of our country. No, it's not your country, and you stole it, just like you stole everything else. There's a reason why they don't want to teach your children history. They don't want to, they don't want to have, that's why they removed any references of Juneteenth. You know, by the way, we need to celebrate Juneteenth to the nth degree this year. And every year going forward, we need to show Donald Trump, even if your job says you can't take off for Juneteenth, you should take off for Juneteenth. We need to show these white people that we're not going anywhere and we're not going back. I'm not going back. I'm not living in Jim Crow. More and more videos are popping up of people going into white restaurants and eating and being treated like crap. I saw a video of a lady who took her car to service, and on the printout, it called her the N-word. I'm not kidding. This is happening. We might need to take a page from Ibrahim Traore. What's going to happen if they send black troops to Africa? Are you going to kill those black men and women? Are you going to kill those black men? You said, well, I got to kill or be killed. What is that going to look like? You see, they've been slowly killing black people for decades, unbeknownst to us. They've been calling them terrorists. That's what General Ashli tried to do when he was on Capitol Hill last week. You see, they did that to Gaddafi. They want to call them terrorists, so that justifies them going in and killing these people. By the way, from what the reports are, Ibrahim Traore has had 20 assassination attempts on his life so far. Part of the reason that Putin was in Burkina Faso was the fact that he's offering him security. I'm not a Putin fan, but I have mixed feelings about what is happening in Burkina Faso and Africa as a large issue and what's happening here in America. Because we have a racist in the White House that is being ran by a white supremacist agenda. We know that now. There is no doubt about it. And I don't care what you say, this man is a racist. That's the bottom line. And the question that we have to ask ourselves is, what are we going to do about it? Just like the people in Burkina Faso and Africa at large are saying, we have had enough of white imperialism, and we're going to run our country the way we want to run our country, and we're going to kick all of those people out. America, you brought it on yourself. France, Belgium, Great Britain, you brought it on yourself. I saw an interesting quote last week. It's amazing when, and this quote said, it's amazing if you go into the British Museum and all of the artifacts are not from Britain. Something to think about. We'll take a break. It's called Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices on joynetradio.com.
Bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah, at rearbrub.com. Holman's Dynamic Pepper Juice is lighting fires around the country. It's the new product from rearbrub.com. Use it on meats and vegetables. Add it to your gumbos and greens for an extra punch. Made with all natural ingredients, Coleman's Dynamic Pepper Juice will enhance the flavors of your favorite recipes. Order today on rearbrub.com. And while there, be sure to check out some of our other great products. It's developed with love and care using the best all-natural ingredients with no GMOs or preservatives. From snacks to seasonings, Coleman's Dynamic Products has something for everyone. Bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah, at rearbrub.com.
Hey, beautiful. You look gorgeous. Are you doing something different? There's a healthy glow about you.
Thanks. I'm just my natural self.
Come on. What's your secret?
Okay. Since I found skintentional.com, I've been getting a lot of those comments.
Skintentional.com.
Yes, skintentional.com is handcrafted, luxurious natural baths and body care products. Crafted for those with a designer's taste for high-quality skincare products but won't break your bank. From body butter to oils and soaps, Skintentional has something for everyone, including the man in your life. Get your man some beard balm and oils, and yes, they offer body butters and soap for him as well, without making him smell like flowers. Go to skintentional.com and check out their amazing products. They believe self-care should be an intentional and joyous experience for all. Skintentional.com.
Pigskin, check. Round ball, check. Hard ball, check. Hockey puck, check. Burning rubber, check. We got it all on the weekly sports page with David Coleman. What else do you need? Did I say food? Can't have sports without food. What kind of show is this again?
A sports show.
Oh, okay. Pass me those rib nuts.
Yeah, we do have it all and a whole lot more with me, Dynamic David Coleman, on the weekly sports magazine.
Welcome back to Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with us if you'd like to join the show. We're talking a little bit today about race. This whole show, if you hadn't figured out, is about race. Yeah, it is. I've got more for you. I want to read a couple of things to you because I want to educate you. Because what is happening in our politics right now has everything to do with race, has nothing to do with finance. It has everything to do with race. Well, it does have something to do with finance. It has that has to do with one man empowering himself to make millions of dollars with his crypto. See, right now, if you buy a crypto coin from Donald Trump, he's already said the top 25 purchasers will get a tour of the White House. Did you know now that foreign governments can donate money or buy cryptocurrency and you don't even know how much? What is it? The United Arab Emirates, who I think it was them that word is that they donated $20 billion. They bought $20 billion in cryptocurrency, that coin. Yeah, we're living in corrupt times. Y'all better pay attention. But I wanted to give you some information here. There are issues that are going on from immigration, abortion, deportation, and birth rates. Why is all of this happening? Okay? I want to read something to you. Have you ever heard of 14 words? Have you ever seen a white supremacist and they say 14? This is important because this is going to tie into all the other stuff that I'm about to talk about. Let me just give you something. This is from the Anti-Defamation League. 14 words is a reference to the most popular white supremacist slogan in the world. This is what it means. We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. That's a pregnant pause. Let me read it again because maybe you didn't get that. Let's see. It's called 14 words. We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. That's another pregnant pause. I need to read it to you one more time because see, when I was brought up in the church and they said in the Bible, when it says something 3 times, it means something. So I need to say this 3 times so you understand that this means something. We must. We being white people, white supremacists, we must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. Didn't say all children. Didn't say all lives matter. You didn't say all lives matter. It said white children. Didn't say black. Didn't say Asian. Didn't say Hispanic. It said white. These are the words from David Lane. He was a member of a white supremacist. Couldn't say that word. terrorist group known as the Order. He died in prison in 2007. Po thing. The term reflects a primary white supremacist worldview in the late 20th and early 21st centuries that unless immediate action is taken, the white race is doomed to extinction by an alleged rising tide of color. Have you been listening to this show? How long have I been talking about this on this here thing right here? Right here? I hate the fact that I'm right, but I am. I'm not patting myself on the back because, as I said earlier in the show, I think we are headed towards a cataclysmic situation. I believe that we are. There's more from David Lane, okay? While he was in prison, Lane wrote the 88 Precepts as a treatise on his views on race, politics, and philosophy. 88 is a common dog whistle to praise Adolf Hitler, as Heil Hitler uses the 8th letter of the English alphabet for the start of both words. Lane viewed these as the principles behind the 214 words slogan. The 88 Precepts are critical of democracy and oppose government under the claim of taxation as theft. They also promoted servant leadership, deitistic theological view, and rejected racial integration, calling it a euphemism for white genocide. Lane's writings also sought to establish a white ethno-state in North America and Eastern Europe. 88 Precepts is one of the key texts printed and distributed through 14-word press, including the White Genocide Manifesto, which contained 14 key points. As in other writings, Lane repeats the claim that white people are threatened by a lack of exclusive territorial hegemony and forced racial mixing. Lane viewed the United States government as part of a Zionist conspiracy, consistent with the restrictive gender roles which are practiced within Aryan nations. Precept 35 of 88 regards homosexuality as an unnatural and also views sex as an act of reproduction which should be performed for the sole purpose of increasing the size of the white population. Lane also considers sex as a motivation for male subjugation of women, who are expected to be subservient. Lane advises men to subjugate women via power and control of territory, and he also advises white men to take up arms for this purpose. According to the website, the United Klans of America viewed the 88 Precepts as a source for which we ascertain lasting truth. Did you hear about Donald Trump offering $5,000 to women to have babies? Now, he didn't say it, but he's really talking to white women. He wants, we talked about this a little bit last week. He wants white women to have more babies. So I did this. I wanted to go out and read, or at least look up some data for the United States. I wanted to go back 15 years, but I have a more current chart. Now just listen to this. In 2023, there were 3,596,017 live births in the United States. The fertility rate in the United States in 2023 was 54.5 per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44. Of all live births in the United States during 2021 through 2023 average, 25.3% were Hispanic. 50.5% were white. 13.9% were black, 0.7% were American Indian, Alaskan Native, and 6.2% were Asian Pacific Islanders. So right now, if you look, white people are still having more babies than any other ethnic group as a whole. But what do we know, girls and boys? Raise your hand if you've been listening to Black Focus Radio and you've went out and bought your book, The ISIS Papers, The Keys to Color by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. And we've talked about Dr. Welsing a lot on this show. She is one of my other favorite authors. Got to interview her as well. And guess what? By 2042, no later than 2050, for the first time in the history of America, America will be predominantly brown and black-skinned people. White people will be in the minority. Hello? Remember those 14 words? Can I go back and read it to you again? We must secure the existence of our people and the future for white children. Now, how can they do that? Well, first of all, they need to figure out a smart way because they know black people are going to fight to the death because we ain't going back. So what do? They want to put it in law. So the first thing that they need to do is get someone who's going to support their cause. Well, guess what? They got him. His name is Donald J. Trump. He's sitting in the White House and he's destroying everything black that he can put his hands on. He's destroying black museums. He's destroying African American history and culture in schools, the education department. He's demanded that the Black Lives Matter Plaza be changed. He's doing all of that. And he's offering women $5,000 to have a baby, which is ridiculous because $5,000 is not going to pay for a child. And if you take that $5,000, you're an idiot. But then guess what? There are a lot of idiots who support Donald Trump. That's why he's back in the White House. You see, they'll support Donald Trump and his bigotry because they are bigots. They are racist. Oh, I hate it when y'all call us racist. Well, you know, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck and waddles like a duck, swims like a duck, guess what? It's a duck. Duck. So how can he's offered $5,000. Remember, I told you I was going to give you some info on this. He's offered. What have they been doing? They've been trying to keep women from having abortions. You say, well, that's all women. Well, see, they can't just outwardly say, we don't want white women to have abortions. We won't, but that's what they would prefer, is that white women stop having abortions and continue to allow people of color to have abortions. Remember, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing said, by 2042, she said it on Donahue. Remember, I've talked about this over and over again. I've been looking for the tape. I can't find it. I'm still looking for it. But on that day, Donahue asked the white supremacist that was on stage with Dr. Welsing about her claim. And he said that before we let that happen, we will blow America up. Oh my God. What are they doing? Whew. They're not dropping bombs on America. They're doing it the intellectual way by attacking America's Constitution. Abortion is one of those means to an end. You see, if they could just stop white women from having abortions, they can hold off on being a minority. But see, they don't understand genetics. This is why they're so stupid. Because the dominant gene will always win out. Eventually, white people will become extinct. There's a reason why they don't want white women having black babies and sleeping with black men. Oh, they want to go and sleep with black women. But some of them don't even want that. They don't want their white men having babies by black women. They don't want you to have an abortion. That's what this abortion fight is all about. It has nothing to do with their concern about children, because if they were concerned about children, that little black child that I talked about earlier in the show, then that white woman who called that black child an N-word wouldn't have raised $250,000 and counting. You're not concerned about black children. You're only concerned about white children. You're not concerned about educating black children. You're only concerned about educating white children. That's why you are having these vouchers and these charter schools, so you can pick and choose which black kid will go to that school. Oh, you know that black kid he plays football. He's going to be a good running back. We want him. Oh, he plays basketball. We want him. We don't want the black academician. He's too smart. We don't want the Benjamin Banneker types, the Sojourner Truth types. So they attack the schools. They dismantle education. They dismantle black history. They threaten to close down HBCUs, because not realizing that HBCUs were created because white people didn't want black kids going to white colleges. So you got abortion, you got education, you have birth rates. What else do you have? You have deportation. Why is it that they are so hell-bent on deporting these, what they call terrorists? Remember last week I talked to you about that fact, that terrorist that you say you want to deport, but you're only deporting black terrorists or terrorists whom you claim of color. You're not deporting the white ones because they okay. And some of them running the government. This is not hyperbole, folks. This is fact. You know it. Not one of those Republicans have said anything about the racist statements that this president has been saying over the last few years, few weeks, few months. Well, I should say few years. I'm just saying. So you got abortion. You want to stop immigration. You don't want immigration from those S-hole countries. Remember that? Why can't we get people from Scandinavia and Norway? That's because those people are white. Canada. Although Canada won't be coming anytime soon because you done tore your drawers with them. You see, I told you this entire show was about race and what this government is doing. Oh, by the way, don't let me forget about birthright citizenship. And don't let me forget about they are now trying to figure out a way to even deport American citizens. Now, who you think they gonna deport? Your black ass. So what are you doing about it? That's the question I'm gonna ask, and what we must do. And what we must do right now is take a break. It's called Black Focus Radio, our issues, our solutions, our voices on JoynetRadio.com.
Bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah, at rearbrub.com. Holman's Dynamic Pepper Juice is lighting fires around the country. It's the new product from rearbrub.com. Use it on meats and vegetables. Add it to your gumbos and greens for an extra punch. Made with all natural ingredients, Coleman's Dynamic Pepper Juice will enhance the flavors of your favorite recipes. Order today on rearbrub.com. And while there, be sure to check out some of our other great products. It's developed with love and care using the best all-natural ingredients with no GMOs or preservatives. From snacks to seasonings, Coleman's Dynamic Products has something for everyone. Bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah, at reaurbub.com.
Hey, beautiful. You look gorgeous. Are you doing something different? There's a healthy glow about you.
Thanks. I'm just my natural self.
Come on. What's your secret?
Okay. Since I found skintentional.com, I've been getting a lot of those comments.
Skintentional.com?
Yes, skintentional.com is handcrafted, luxurious natural baths and body care products. Crafted for those with a designer's taste for high-quality skincare products but won't break your bank. From body butter to oils and soaps, Skintentional has something for everyone, including the man in your life. Get your man some beard balm and oils, and yes, they offer body butters and soap for him as well, without making him smell like flowers. Go to skintentional.com and check out their amazing products. They believe self-care should be an intentional and joyous experience for all. Skintentional.com.
Pigskin, check. Round ball, check. Hard ball, check. Hockey puck, check. Burning rubber, check. We got it all on the weekly sports page with David Coleman. What else do you need? Did I say food? Can't have sports without food. What kind of show is this again?
A sports show.
Oh, okay. Pass me those rib nuts.
Yeah, we do have it all and a whole lot more with me, Dynamic David Coleman, on the weekly sports magazine.
Welcome back to Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with me if you'd like to join the show. Today's show is about race. I'm tying together some strings to show you that this whole agenda by the president and the Republican Party is about race. And they're not talking about it. The national media is not talking about it. And if we don't start paying attention to it, we're going to say, exactly. That's exactly what you're going to say. Listen to it again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because you weren't paying attention, because you know what you were doing? You were watching all that crap. You were too busy watching your own people fight each other on social media while white people are plotting. By the way, did you know that there is a white supremacist campaign compound going up in East Tennessee between Chattanooga and Knoxville, if I remember correctly? Did y'all know that? Where they're teaching white supremacy? Where's our compound? Where I'd like to go. Oh. See, that's what we must do. We need to start coming together and stop this craziness and say, hey, look, there are some issues that are going on that could adversely affect our future. See, white people are already banding together saying, hey, look, remember those 14 words? Do I need to read them again? Let me get back to them 14 words. Let me go back to them. Here we go. We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. What y'all doing for black children? What we doing? Where we at? Where we at? Now, why can't we take those words and say, we must secure the existence of our people and a future for black children? Because that's what we ought to be doing. We shouldn't be taking this for granted, as some of you all are. The time is now. The time that is now for us to stand up and start supporting one another, spending money with our own, and voting in blocks and letting people know that we are not going to go there. Look, I am so proud of y'all. Y'all stood together. You see, don't tell me you can't do it, because black people stood together and didn't go to Target. Target lost $16 billion. They are potentially could end up bankrupting. Because black people are not going back. $16 billion. Don't tell me you can't do it. See, when you put your mind to it, see, when black people move as one, we are a powerful force. See, that's what got us up out of slavery. That's what got us out of Jim Crow. That's what got us civil rights and equal rights. But see, we are in need of a movement today in order to make sure that we secure the future of our children. Look, see, the difference between us and them is that we can live with y'all. Y'all don't want to live with us. And with that being said, why? What's going on here? It makes no sense. So the question that we've got to start asking ourselves as we continue to move forward is, are we really going to save our people? Do the children of today have the convictions of our ancestors? I keep asking that question because right now I have not seen any evidence. Sorry if I hurt your feelings, but hey, we've got to talk about this. We've got to make sure that people understand that you have a bigger issue that you must address. We must address. I'm 64 years old. My voice will soon disappear. The only time you'll hear it, it will be saved out there in the internet somewhere. And maybe someone will find it and say, hey, we should have listened to that man. I don't do this for fame and fortune. I do this for the love of my people. It is not the hate of other people. You see, I can love other people just as much as I love my people. The difference is that there are those who are out there who don't love me simply because I have melanin in my skin. And you need to teach your children that there are people out there just like that. And you need to learn them to protect themselves by knowledge and by power. The boycott of Target told you one thing, is we are a powerful nation. The boycott of Walmart will tell you one thing, that we are a powerful nation. Standing up and flocking to Juneteenth celebrations will tell others that we are a powerful nation and we are not going back. It is time for us to take control of our own destiny, just like the people of Burkina Faso, the people of Ghana, South Africa, and all of those African nations who are now becoming or banding together to be as one. Just because they are over there, we still share the same bloodlines. We still share things that others will never understand. So I'm calling again to boycott college sports in red states. If your child needs to go to a college, send him to a college in a blue state. Stop spending all of this money with these white colleges when they don't give a damn about your black skin. Hello? Again, do you have the courage of our ancestors? Do you? I don't think you do. Don't get upset. It amazes me how y'all get upset when a black person is killed by the police, but you're not upset when a black person is killed by the system. That is nothing more than white supremacy. Oh, I see. See, you can't see it. I need you to go back and listen to this whole show again and tell a friend Y'all listen to it together and decipher it, because it's really simple. It's so simple, it's profound. White supremacy is killing our communities. White supremacy has always killed our communities. When Ronald Reagan flew cocaine back into America for the Contras, and they distributed that cocaine into the black community, that was a conspiracy to kill black people. When they started bringing guns into our community, that was a conspiracy to kill black people. Now they're in the government, and they are writing legislation like Project 2025 that many of you all didn't even bother to go and read, let alone vote against. They are now writing legislation to kill black people, to deport black people. Dr. King once said that just because it's a law doesn't mean it's right. I meant to talk about today, and I don't have time, about the legislator in, I believe it was Oklahoma, who talked about the 3/5 compromise. It was okay. It wasn't a bad thing. Like I said, they are now saying the quiet part out loud. The sad thing is that many of our people are not even listening. That's the sad thing about all of this. We're going to have to make a choice. The question is, are you ready to make that choice? Before we get out of here, I want to remind you that the entire month of May, all of our gift boxes are $29.95. I will be posting links to those boxes on the Facebook page, the Instagram page, as well as the YouTube page. Okay? Just click on them, get your gift box. It's time to barbecue. And you can't barbecue without Coleman's Dynamic Products. Bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe as we march to 1,000 viewers, subscriptions on Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices on joinedradio.com.
You've been listening to Black Focus, where we discuss our issues with our solutions and our voices. Join us every weekday afternoon at 1 p.m. on joinedradio.com.